Now let's look at Trimatry. So Trimatry is a fairly simple idea for finding things that are basically nothing. You could think of it as a find empty files, find zero length files, and or find folders with nothing in them, or combinations of both of those. Like the other parts of Foldatry, we have a simple list of folders that we can set up with a browse button to go and find something. So I can add that path to the set of folders. It does protect me from having folders that are within folders in the same list. So if I now go to subfolder, the one I just at, and go to add that to the list, I get a warning that that would cause a clash in the list, and it refuses to add it. If I want to override that, I can turn off check as added down below the list, and now it'll let me add it to the list. I do actually have a clash sitting there in the list. I could confirm whether that's the case by clicking on check clashes, in which case it tells me yes, I've got a clash in the list, and I will need to resolve that. I could resolve it, for example, by deleting the parent folder here, selecting that in the list and clicking clear. Got that wrong. Let's go and add that one there. Let's go and add, go back to parent folder. Anything it'll do there. Add that to the list. We were able to add those because check as added is turned off. Check clashes, there's a clash. Can select, actually I'll select this one this time and do remove, and it'll just remove the selected one. I can now check for clashes. No need for a dialog box because it's fine. It merely showed a new status in the top right corner saying all good, no clashes in the summitry list. Okay, interesting. And there are various options here for what it should do when it goes deciding what folders and files are empty. So can it delete the topmost folder? Because you might want to, having chosen a folder, have it find anything that's empty within that folder, but leave that folder there. In fact, that was the default setting, was to do that. But if you wanted to delete this folder as well, if everything else proves to be empty, then you can turn that on, turn that off. Should we treat nested empty folders as being empty? Is a choice. So that's where we might find that as a subfolder that's empty, and depending on what we're doing, we may not want to delete that, but also we may not want to delete any folder that has other folders in it, even if they're empty. Treat zero length files as being not there. In other words, it will treat them as something that is an emptiness. Again, that's on by default. There are two settings here for allowing it to go through all of that analysis, but to still leave some folders in place if you have set a marker file. So this is particularly the one on the right, which is no media, .no media. That's something you use quite often on Android to tell its applications that go showing pictures and video files to not show the ones for a particular folder, and that's done by just putting a file in that folder that's .no media as the name. So here we can honor that and say treat .no media as being a presence, which means that any folder that's got that file in it will not be treated as being empty. And we've got another one separate to the .no media, and this one is custom to Trimatry. If you put a .keepifempty file in a folder, then it means no matter what else is going on with the setting for Trimatry, it will not treat that folder as being empty. It will honor the fact that you've got your marker file there to say, no, don't ever delete this folder, even if it's empty. And even if what I'm saying is find empty folders to delete, then don't delete that one. Finally, there's how shall you actually do the deletions. The default setting is bash script, in which case it will generate a text file, which is a set of bash commands to do the deletions, or you can choose direct delete, in which case when you do run process, if it finds those to be deleted, it will delete them. There's a setting here for delete from deepest. So this controls how the deletions will be done, which is kind of a system level thing. You could consider that delete from deepest would be the most cautious way to do it. So if you had empty subfolders and subfolders and subfolders, and there's emptiness kind of at all those levels, this will go to the deepest folder and delete the empty files in it, and then delete that folder, and then go back out to the parent one, which is now empty, like our analysis told us that that would be empty after we deleted these other things, and then delete that one, and then go up a parent. But actually we can, if we know that a certain folder we've decided, yeah, it's got all this stuff in it, but we're going to treat all this stuff as empty, then we can just delete that folder with all the stuff that's in it. That's obviously a rather dangerous sort of delete, but generally you can do that in most systems, and so you can say to the program, do that, because frankly that will be faster rather than having it traverse all of the places. It's kind of, I honestly don't know all of the reasons for choosing one or the other of these settings. I've made sure that the program can do either one, really. With all the settings in place, we would then just click on Run Process, and away it'll go.